Aaliyah is one of the defining voices of 90s R&B and a major influence in pushing and evolving its sound in a way that's still felt today. But even at the time, people knew she was special. And the album that really set her apart from her peers and established her as a tastemaker and someone who could go on to do so much in her short life was her aptly named sophomore album, 1 in a Million. This album to me was her first real album that allowed her to have way more creative freedom compared to her 15-year-old debut. And most famously, this pushed a new sound that was a beautiful blend of herself and two of her best friends, Missy Elliott and Timbaland. And it was jaw-dropping at the time, pushing this electronically backed sound that stood out and made others follow behind it, but also holds up incredibly well today. In this video, I'll be going through my favourite Aaliyah album, ranking every song, and giving an all-encompassing review of this legendary album. Like always, this type of video is super subjective, and my ranking is not necessarily which songs are the best or socially most loved, but rather which songs are my favourite, and which songs do I want to listen to every day. But this album is sick, and I didn't realise how many songs I loved until I sat down to make this video and give it some real thought. But let's get into it. I like these videos being short and sweet. And up first, we have the intro track, Beats for the Streets. The intro and outro tracks are exactly that in its most traditional sense on this album. They're almost instrumentals and definitely welcoming us in and seeing us out of the album as a whole. It's hard to say that Beats for the Streets is an amazing song on its own, but I like these types of tracks being on albums. It makes them feel thought out and conceptual, rather than, hey, here's a bunch of music I made. And I think conceptually, just like this album, this intro song re-establishes Aaliyah to her audience and the world. So I do think it's a cool song and sets the scene for Aaliyah's new image that's being brought to life with the helping hands of Missy and Timbo. But get ready because this is the worst we're going to hear from this album, ranking in last place at 17th. Aaliyah already had some hip-hop beats that she describes as street but sweet on her debut project, and that only continues with more polish and intention on 1 in a Million. And Hot Like Fire has that smooth sound while having a hypnotic rhythm that just feels sexy with her silky, understated vocals riding the beat. And this is one of her greatest skills. She doesn't need to flex her vocal talent on every track, but instead does what best suits the song and makes the dopest vibe. I will say, doing this ranking, I've realised that I dock points from songs that are hook heavy or too looped that can end up feeling repetitive, no matter how great the song is. I love switch ups and changes and extra verses. So I do think this song is cool. That's really the only word I can use to describe it, but there are a lot of other songs that have more substance in this way and are just more enjoyable to me. But it still cracks the top half, sliding into number 8. The namesake of the album, 1 in a Million, is one of the biggest R&B songs of the 90s and influenced so much of R&B's future. And for good reason, because this song is insane and perfection. I've heard so many covers of this song, and the original will always be the best. The beat is pretty simple when you think about it, and maybe has developed this mythical identity over the years that makes it legendary. But combine it with her perfect vocals, especially in the bridge, and smash everything together, it's one of the best R&B songs of all time. It's such a great blend of Aaliyah's swag and approach to music that makes her unique compared to some other great vocalists and being a loving R&B song. And as great as this song is, ranking it is kind of hard. And maybe I'm trying too hard to be different, and also content baby, but 1 in a Million is the bridesmaid today, taking second place. There are a few songs on this album that I default to and play often when I'm in my 90s or Aaliyah bag. A Girl Like You is one of those for sure. I love this genre of song, those R&B rap duets that feel so quintessentially 90s and 2000s. It's a combo that works so perfectly together as they complement each other so well as sister genres, and makes for these fly songs. As an Aaliyah fan, there are some songs of hers that I wish she was a bigger part of. It's not like it sounds like she's featuring on Treach's song here, but it does sound like a duet or a shared song. And that can sound contradictory with what I just said, but I would have just loved for her to have had another verse or some sections that really defined it as hers. So I think both things can definitely be true here. And again, it just goes to show how much of a selfless superstar she was, who was always willing to do whatever was best for the song. But the song is sick, and by virtue of being one of my most played songs on the album, I'd imagine, it's ranking all the way up in 4th place. And we have another huge release from this album in If Your Girl Only Knew. Once again, this is way more hip-hop than traditional R&B, which is something that defines Aaliyah throughout her career. But it is another song that's hook-heavy and a pretty continuous loop that is really made fresh by little layered vocals and ad-libs here and there. Although the switch-up is really cool and highlights her vocal versatility first and foremost, and is another case of her cruising throughout the song, playing her instrument as needed, and flexing it here and there. And I don't want to be too reductive with a song like this or other hits just because they don't have 18 verses. It's still obviously a great song. Timbaland's beat is sick, and Aaliyah fits on it perfectly. There's just a few deep cuts that I like more than it, but at its absolute worst, it's coming 7th. And next up, we have one of two covers or reinterpretations of older and legendary songs, even for that time. And fitting with Aaliyah's vision and image, she gives us two interpretations of the Isley Brothers' Choosey Lover, a more traditional soulful rendition and a modern new school take that's hip-hop infused. I love this play on the difference in eras and styles through its two halves, and it leads to a dope switch-up that gives us two songs and different vibes for the price of one. The old school original is lovely and sweet sounding, while the trendy new school half has that swagger and street sound that's just so dope. Ultimately, it's a cool and smooth track that's really lovingly made and does the original a great service, and is a song I come back to a lot. It's getting in the top 5 at number 5. And we get the second cover or rendition right after it with Gotta Give It Up. So the lyrics are familiar and like always are covered extremely well and in Aaliyah's own unique style, doing Marvin Gaye proud. And just like A Girl Like You, the combination of a rapper's flow with Aaliyah's silky vocals is a recipe I'll always love. And this is another song that I keep coming back to. And the second is ranking one spot higher, being a little more loved and memorable for me for a few reasons, as it takes the third spot. I think Slick Rick's bars are a little more catchy, and I think that the song having that upbeat, makes you want to dance sound is also playing a factor. So I think it's just a fun song. And I didn't realize how much of a lauded skill Aaliyah had when it came to covers. I've seen so many videos of her being asked to cover various songs. Like I just saw one of her covering No Diggity when it came out on a radio show, and I've seen a ton of others too. So I think her unique approach to these iconic tracks that are faithful but new and cool are rightly loved. And so shout out this song. I love it. And we dip back into traditional and again quintessential 90s R&B with one of Aaliyah's best love songs that had her deep in her bag. Like so many of her songs, like here on 4-Page Letter, the beat can be simple and elegant while getting the job done, in combination with beautiful lyrics and breathtaking vocals. She also follows the recipe of having a dope switch up in the bridge by offering a different singing style that injects a cool feel into the song, especially one that's a little longer. I love when a song does that, and I do feel like it's needed sometimes but not always done, and definitely not in the way that Aaliyah can do it, being so versatile. And we're getting another high-ranked song out the way as this one is coming in 6th spot. Speaking to Aaliyah's versatility, we get another strong example of that right after 4-Page Letter with Everything's Gonna Be Alright. Coming from that slower, classic R&B sound to another hip-hop vibe with its faster tempo and BPM, it comes with that cool swagger that Aaliyah pulls off effortlessly. It is going to be just the second song so far to rank in the bottom half of the ranking at number 11, which I want to make clear says a lot more about the strength of this album. And just like some of the other hits of the album, this one is a bit repetitive following that same logic from before. So I'm using that as a differentiating point in reasoning why it's lower than some other songs to come. It definitely has its time and place, and I massively appreciate it. And you know I could say this about every song, but vocally she kills it. It's just a case of personal preference. Giving You More has that same hip-hop beat while being slower. It gives me lowrider vibes, like Something from Houston, which makes it a cool track to relax to, but as another hook-heavy song, there's just a cap to how much I love it, and more so an added reason to love a few other songs more. And I'll reiterate this album is incredible. I genuinely love every single song and have a place in my heart for them all. So it really is hard to separate my thoughts in this ranking, and I encourage you guys to try and do the same thing. Give me your rankings in the comments. Because for me, this is right about in the middle in 9th place. I do feel like so many of the titles of the songs here are in the same ballpark, and maybe this is just a me thing, but it makes it hard to remember some of these songs by name alone. But I Got Your Back is a really unique song in the way it straddles the street R&B vibe with a dope beat, elegant vocals, and a loving subject. And vocally, it actually has some of my favourite deliveries on the entire album. Moments where she utilises her falsetto and higher register that complements the song so well and adds a whole new dimension to it. And to that point of this being such a great, well-rounded album, that description of it and glowing praise makes it sound crazy that it's coming in a couple spots lower at 12th. And she follows it up with one of my favourite R&B songs ever. That might sound like a crazy take, but I really love this song. I love the simple beat that underpins this ballad as something just romantic and dreamy. And vocally, Aaliyah kills it, and Tavarius' section is a really nice addition and completes the song perfectly. I just love vocals with crazy movement. That's something that makes me love R&B, and especially this era of music. I also think it's really sick that Tavarius actually recorded the demo for the song, which is basically a rough idea or trial of how the song could work. But Aaliyah loved what he did so much that she got him on the real song instead of opting for some bigger name. And like some of the other high-ranking songs here, I clearly love the combination of Aaliyah with a male artist. And as much as I love the way she collabs with hip-hop artists, this vocalist pairing is beautiful. They bounce off each other so well in another sort of duet. It isn't just like, you have your part, I have mine, which kind of became the status quo in music and is something that makes duets so special. And it's so rare today and cool to hear when it happens, like when Givin and Snow Allegra teamed up for Last Time. But back to the song, the concept is also really nice and R&B perfection when we talk about vocals, gooey love, and emotion. so I'm taking a swing and claiming Never Given Up as my favourite song on 1 in a Million. And as you can see, the remaining songs are all ranking relatively low, but that doesn't mean any of them are bad by any means, just that some have to. And Heartbroken is a really lovely song that vocally feels unique and interesting, mainly through those layered vocals which have been used to great effect on this album and again work as an instrument. But it is another one of those hook-heavy songs that I just have to put lower than I could otherwise. It's definitely a song that I think is special, and like all of the songs on this project, they can be loved and enjoyed by anyone who loves or appreciates Aaliyah and what she can do with her music. But for me, as you can kind of see my taste here, Heartbroken is going down in 14th. And following it, we have Never Coming Back, which is another slower, laid-back song as she sings directly to us. There are a few things I love about this song. Vocally, it's incredible. What else do we expect? And I love the switch-ups here and there amid the steady ship of the song too. So it has a cool vibe that you can chill to, which is something she does so well and effortlessly, even if the subject matter is strong, personal, and emotional. Her vocals always fit the beat and situation perfectly. And it's coming just a spot higher here at 13th. Ladies in the House is another chill song that has that classic Timbaland and Missy feel, but I think it has a clear time and place, like so many of these vibe songs. A song like this being hook-heavy and repetitive isn't as bad because this is the type of song you could smoke or drive to or something. It's different to a hit song that you want to sing along with, only to repeat the hook 40 times. But it is just hard to place a song like this higher up than some of the other songs that to me are just more interesting and consistent on a regular listening basis. I did have a phase of wanting to play this song a lot, but it is going to be one of the lowest ranking songs at 15th. And now we get the One I Gave My Heart To, which is one of the most classically R&B songs on the entire album, and it is kind of refreshing to hear. It's just Aaliyah going off with pure vocals without any frills or the swagger of other songs. And I do think it's a very 90s coded R&B song that I could definitely hear Mariah Carey on, or any other master vocalist. If you're in the mood for a song like this, it's right up there. That's the thing with Aaliyah though, she can do so much, and it really is a case of pick your poison. She has music for everybody and every vibe, and it can depend on the day. And today, for me, the One I Gave My Heart To is falling just outside the top half in 10th place. And that leaves the final song, the outro track, Came to Give Love. And just like the intro, Beats for the Streets, in isolation and individually, it is underwhelming, and not a song that I would rush to play. But within the album and the journey of it, I think it's nice, and I'm always an advocate for tracks like this existing. It is shorter, and ultimately a send-off track that's understated and simple as far as Aaliyah's involvement goes compared to every other song on the album. She plays her role by offering her steady and soft vocals on Timbaland's beat. But within this part of the video and the ranking, it's really just in competition with the intro track. And as you can tell, I do think it's a little better on its own legs, taking the last spot left at 16th. And that's the end of the ranking. I already love this album, but doing this video and taking my time to think about the album in this way gave me another level of appreciation for it. You might think, oh yeah, there's a few good songs on here, but I genuinely think every song is great and has merit of its own, which is always a huge accomplishment and says a lot about the artist and the project itself. So with that being said, what do I rate this album? Get mad, but I'm giving it a 9.5 out of 10. I really love this album and think it's as close to perfection as it gets for me. And if I'm scared to rate it that highly, what could a 9.5 possibly be? Looking at the album as a whole, I think she offers that Aaliyah versatility that made her so special and that we love. We get a high level of everything for all situations and preferences. Conceptually, I love the bounce back from the possible trauma of her debut album, finding herself as a young adult and having this image she wants to push. It seemed like a perfect coming together moment for herself in combination with her two leading producers and friends, Timbaland and Missy, who sonically gave us something unique, cool, and massively influential. Vocally, Aaliyah's absurd on this album, again giving us a wide array of performances and deliveries that make a lot of these songs fresh and flexible where they could end up in a ton of different playlists. And selfishly, the only reason I'm not giving it a 10 is my personal preference, as I've said throughout the video, of more individually unique songs that aren't catchy choruses all the way through. Which, as far as making a commercially and socially celebrated album, is horrible advice, because all of the hits need to be memorable, and so much of pop and R&B is based around hooks, like what we got on this unforgettable album. But if you watched this video, I hope you listened along, or are excited to give the album another listen, because it is well worth it. And while you're at it, play her self-titled album and everything else too. We love Aaliyah and should never forget her timeless art. That wraps up the video though. Thank you so much for watching, I hope you enjoyed it. And again, let me know your thoughts on the album. I'd love to see your rankings and reasoning behind it. But other than that, have a great day or night.